Primary source reader by Dr. Joshua Pham, number 14, Caesar Augustus, introduction. Near the end of Augustus's reign, regent 31 BCE to 14 CE, he had the following account of his accomplishments. The deeds of the divine Augustus, engraved on 2 bronze pillars and set in front of his mausoleum in Rome. The original bronze pillars are gone, but luckily for us, copies were distributed throughout the empire. The following selection of the Augustus achievements was inscribed on marble in a building which was a temple of Augustus in Ankara, capital of modern-day Turkey. Questions for response paper. Officially, what is the source of Augustus's authority? Where was his real power over the Roman Empire and Senate located? Number 2, what was Augustus's relationship to the Roman army? What sorts of measures did Augustus take to ensure the loyalty of the army? What does this tell you about the Roman political structure? How does Augustus win the loyalty of the people? Primary text selection from the Deeds of the Divine Augustus. A copy below of the Deeds of Divine Augustus, by which he subjected the whole wide earth to the rule of the Roman people, and of the money which he spent for the Roman state and Roman people, inscribed on 2 bronze pillars, which are set up in Rome. 1. In my 19th year, on my own initiative and at my own expense, I raised an army with which I set free the state, which was oppressed by the domination of a faction. 2. I drove the men who slaughtered my father into exile with a legal order punishing their crime, and afterwards, when they waged war on the state, I conquered them in 2 battles. Number 3, I often waged wars, civil and foreign, on the earth and sea, in the whole wide world, and as victor I spared all the citizens who sought pardon. As for foreign nations, those which I was able to safely forgive, I preferred to preserve than to destroy. About 500,000 Roman citizens were sworn to me. I led something more than 300,000 of them into colonies, and I returned them to their cities. After their stipend had earned, I assigned all of them fields or gave them money for the military service. I captured 600 ships in addition to those smaller than triremes. Number 4, on account of the things successfully done by me and through my officers under my auspices on earth and sea, the Senate decreed 55 times that there be sacrifices to the immortal gods. Moreover, there were 890 days on which the Senate decreed there would be sacrifices. In my triumphs, kings and 9 children of kings were led before my chariot. I had been consul 13 times. When I wrote this, and I was in the 37th year of Tribunician power, when the dictatorship was offered to me, both in my presence and in my absence by the people and Senate, I did not accept it. 10 years in succession, I was on one of the triumvirs for the reestablishment of the Republic. Up to the day that I wrote these words, I have been princeps of the Senate 40 years. Number 15, to each of the Roman plebs, I paid 300 sesterces in accord with the last will of my father. In my own name, in my 5th consulship, I gave 400 sesterces from the spoils of war. Number 16, I paid the town's money for the fields which I had assigned to soldiers in my 4th consulate. And then when Marcus Crassus and Gnaeus Lentulus Agur were consuls. The sum was about 600 million sesterces, which I paid out for Italian estates, and about 260 million sesterces, which I paid for provincial fields. I was first and alone who did this among all founded military colonies in Italy, or the provinces, according to the memory of my age. I paid out rewards in cash to the soldiers whom I settled in their towns after completion of their service, and in this venture I spent about 400 million sesterces. Number 17. 4 times I helped the senatorial treasury with my money, so that I offered 150 million sesterces to those who were in charge of the treasury. And in 6 CE, I offered 170 million sesterces from my patrimony to the military treasure, which was founded by my advice, and from which rewards were given to soldiers who had served 20 or more times. Number 19. I built the Senate House and the Chalcidiceum, which adjoins it, and the Temple of Apollo on the Palatine, with the porticos, the Temple of Divine Julius, the Lupercal, the portico at the Flammarion Circus, and a vast number of the other public buildings and temples. Number 20. I rebuilt the Capitol and the Theater of Pompeii, each work at enormous cost, without any inscription of my name. I rebuilt aqueducts in many places that had decayed with age, and I doubled the capacity of the Marcian aqueduct by sending a new spring into its channel. I completed the Forum of Julius and the Basilica, which he built between the Temple of Castor and the Temple of Saturn, works begun and almost finished by my father. In 28 BCE, I rebuilt 82 temples of the gods in which the city, by the authority of the Senate, omitting nothing which ought to have been rebuilt at that time. Number 22. 3 times in my own name, and 5 times in that of my adopted sons or my grandsons, I have been given gladiator exhibitions. In these exhibitions, about 10,000 men have fought 26 times under my name, or that my sons and grandsons I gave the people. Hunts of African beasts in the circus, in the open or in the amphitheater. In them about 3,500 beasts were killed. Number 23, I gave the people a spectacle of a naval battle in the place across the Tiber where the grove of the Caesars is now, with the ground excavated in length, 1,800 feet in width, and 1,200 in which 30 beaked ships, Baremes and Triremes, but many smaller, fought among themselves. In these ships, about 3,000 men fought in addition to the rowers. 25. I restored peace to the sea from pirates in that slave war. I handed over to their masters for the infliction of punishment about 30,000 captured who had fled their masters and taken up arms against the state. All Italy swore allegiance to me voluntarily and demanded me as leader of the war which I won at Actium. The provinces of Gaul, Spain, Africa, Sicily, and Sardinia swore the same allegiance, and those who then fought under my standard were more than 700 senators, among whom 83 were made consuls, either before or after. Up to the delay this was written, and about 170 were made priests. 26. I extended the borders of all the provinces of the Roman people which neighbored nations not subject to our rule. I restored peace to the provinces of Gaul and Spain, Likewise, Germany, which includes the ocean from Cadiz to the mouth of the river Elbe. I brought peace to the Alps from the region which I near the Adriatic Sea to the Tuscan. With no unjust war waged against any nation, I sailed my ships on the ocean from the mouth of the Rhine to the east region, up to the borders of Cimbri, where no Roman had gone before that time by land or sea, and the Cimbri and the Charids and the Simnones and the other Germans of the same territory sought by envoys the friendship of me and the Roman people. By my order and auspicious 2 armies were led at about the same time into Ethiopia and into that part of the Arabia which is called Happy, and the troops of each nation of enemies were slaughtered in battle, and many towns captured. They penetrated into Ethiopia all the way to the town of Nabata, which is near Meroe, and into Arabia all the way to the border of the Sabai, advancing to the town of Meribah. 27. I added Egypt to the rule of the Roman people. When Artaxerxes, king of Greater Armenia, was killed, though I could have made it a province, I preferred by the example of our elders to hand over that kingdom to Tigranes, a vassal prince. 28. I found colonies of soldiers in Africa, Sicily, Macedonia, each Spain, Greece, Asia, Syria, Narbonian Gaul, and Pisidia, and furthermore had 28 colonies founded in Italy under my authority, which were very populous and crowded where I lived. 29. I recovered from Spain, Gaul, and Dalmatia the many military standards lost through other leaders after defeating the enemies. I compelled the Parthians to return to me the spoils and standards of 3 Roman armies, and as suppliants to seek the friendship of the Roman people. Furthermore, I placed those standards in the sanctuary of the temple of Mars Ultor. Number 31. Emissaries from the Indian kings were often sent to me, which had not been seen before at that time by any Roman leader. The Bastarnae, the Scythians, and the Sarmatians, who are on the side of the river Don, and the kings further away. The kings of the Albanians, of the Iberians, and of the Medes sought our friendship through emissaries. Number 34. In my 6th and 7th consulship, when I had put an end to the civil wars, after having obtained complete control of the government by universal consent, I transferred the republic from my own dominion back to the authority of the Senate and the Roman people. In return for this favor by me, I received by decree of the Senate the title Augustus. The doorposts of my house were publicly decked with laurels. A civic crown was fixed above my door, and in the Julian Curia was a set of a golden shield, which by its inscription bore witness to was bestowed on me by the Senate and Roman people on account of my valor, clemency, justice, and piety. After that time I excelled all others in dignity, but of power I held no more than those who were my colleagues in an magistracy. That is the end of number 14. I'm so sorry, from Primary Source Reader.